Today in the Savage Goose Show, we're going to be talking about Deadlands Lost Colony. We're going to do an unboxing, and we're going to go through the newsletter. We're going to talk about Kickstarters. My wife is making tea over here, so sorry for the loud noises. We're going to talk about everything. We had to move over to the kitchen today, or the dining room, to make sure I have plenty of room to open this package from Pinnacle. But first, as always, we're going to talk about the newsletter. So this week from Pinnacle, more discussion about the 30-year anniversary Kickstarter that will be happening next week. We'll get to that a little bit more in the Kickstarter, but there is some more information here. I believe there's more information, but kind of like tell you more about the Weird West, tell you more about what's going to be happening for this 30-year anniversary, specifically for this Kickstarter that's happening next week. And that is going to include at least 4 things that we are aware of. 1, it's going to include the 30th anniversary celebration book. This is going to be kind of like one of those commemorative books that is like more like a collector's item. It's not going to be like a rules book of any sort. It's going to have things like, hey, how has Deadlands developed over the past 3 years? What kind of stories do we have about Deadlands that we didn't see, like projects we didn't see, or products that people had ideas for but never came to life? Those kind of things. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a fun read through. I worked on a video for a bit, and I need to probably actually get around to recording it because life's been busy. Also, we have 3 feet of snow outside, so there's a lot of snow. But I think that's exciting. That's exciting to see. There's also going to be a Deadlands book that's going to have the Deadlands rules and the core rules jam-packed together. That's super exciting. It's something that I've been asking for a couple of years now, of being able to see a book like that. I'm hoping that this will actually increase sales in Deadlands, specifically for people who are interested in Deadlands, maybe not everything else, but they're interested in Deadlands. And I hope that this would, if it's successful, means that people or, Pinnacle might start doing this more often with other products. We'll still have to wait and see. There's a lot of content between those 2 books that'll be packed together. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any edges or things in the core rulebook that they're actually going to take out in order to just fit it in just for Deadlands, kind of like they did in the Sad Pathfinder book. For instance, you don't need all the setting rules. You just need the setting rules that Deadlands uses. So if Deadlands doesn't use the setting rule, you don't need to put it in the book. Same thing with certain powers, maybe edges. Powers probably not. Maybe there's certain edges, though, that maybe don't really fit the setting. Maybe we'll take those out. Hindrances that maybe don't hit the setting. The character creation rules will not be in there because you don't only have like 2 character races, maybe more. I think that's only 2 though, and that's going to be all out. So that's out of that book and into this core rule book. I'm curious to see what's all in it versus what's missing essentially. And I really do hope this is successful, so we can see this more often. But only time will tell. And specifically, I should say, I'm not curious to see how well it does in the Kickstarter. I'm actually more curious to see how well it does in retail. So as it gets out into retailer stores like local game shops and such, how much better does it do there than the other books do? I am a little concerned about people being confused on having like the Deadlands. Maybe like if the store has both the Deadlands book and the I lost my train of thought. The Deadlands book and like the Deadlands combined book and the previous core books. People get confused, like, hey, which one do I need? Which is this like 2 different editions, that kind of stuff. But hopefully that will not happen. But we'll see. We do get a little preview of the starter box here, a little bit of the starter set, and it does talk about what's going to be in that. It's going to include the full-length adventure, reference tokens, cards, dice, etc. I'm curious to see if there's what kind of rules we're going to see in that book. If it's going to be like some sort of slimmed down rules like the player's book, or something else like a slimmed down player's book version of the Deadlands core rules. That would be pretty interesting to see too. Whatever it is, it needs to be enough that they can run the game in that starter set and have the full experience, even if it's not necessarily going to have all the rules, like all the edges and all of the hindrances, etc. So we'll see. I'm definitely curious about that. There's going to be a powers box that's going to contain reference card sets for each of the arcane backgrounds found in Deadlands. I think that's a really fun thing. That's kind of playing off of what we're seeing in other games. Daggerheart does something similar, where it's like collections of cards based on what arcane background you're doing. So that's pretty fun. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. That's happening next Tuesday. So honestly, I'll probably just spend next Tuesday just looking at this Kickstarter, talking about all the details that's in that. So look forward to that, kind of my analysis of what we're seeing and what if you shoot it or not, or what value it might bring to you. Mad World for Deadlands is now available for sale. I do not have these links in the description yet. After the stream, I need to put down the links to get this stuff that's in the box. One of the things that's in this box is Mad World for Lost Colony. It is now available for sale on the Pinnacle store, and for PDF or for physical or both. Also, if you get the physical, you might as well just get the PDF. I think that's not an option. You either get the digital only or digital plus physical. So if you want to get that is available through the Pinnacle store. You can also get the PDFs through TTRPG. I will just say that you get a better deal through Pinnacle because you can get the physical and the digital. Even if they sell this on Amazon later, it's just a better deal. Just get it straight from Pinnacle. So take a look at that. Exciting this. Okay, I want to talk about this because this is really important. Okay, Pinnacle is now offering ACEs a formal process for adding requests. We've seen time and again using our text in your products, making VTT products and selling our core products as add-ons in your crowdfunding campaigns, so your customers can purchase everything they need to play. So there's a couple things here. We'll go down this like bullet point list because this is a lot of important things, and this is definitely leaning towards the things that I've been wanting to see. Right. First, it says ACEs can offer the Suede Core Rulebook, companions, and any other core material products as approved as add-ons to their crowdfunding campaigns. So if you are a third-party resource and you want to sell, like, let's say Vermilion, right? And you're selling Vermilion on Kickstarter and you want to offer an add-on to get the core rulebook, which you need to play Vermilion, you can now do so. And that's going to be something that they'll have to figure out. But there's now a way to do that. There's a process now available for them to do that, so that everyone can get everything they need through that Kickstarter. And this hopefully will increase not only the sale of the core rule books, but also increase the sale of those third-party resources. So people who are looking to that, you go, oh, I need another book. Okay, so go get this other book. No, you'll get it all at once. So hopefully that will come through. ACEs may create VTT content using the platform of their choice. Now, Pinnacle has released their core rules and modules on several platforms. This includes Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, and Roll20. I don't believe there's anyone else. It's just those three. That being said, if you want to go somewhere else and put your platform, your product on some other VTT that's not one of those three, they're giving you a way to do that using a method for doing so. So that's interesting. I'm not, again, don't know the details, then they'll have to work out with ACE licensees, they'll have to work out with Pinnacle, but it's a fun thing to see. This next one, this one's the one that I think is the thing I'm most excited for. And that is ACEs may request the use of non-IP. Give me a second, I'm just checking a few things here. Goose may, sorry, I saw someone said Goose in the chat here, and I started reading my own name. So, yeah. ACEs may request the use of non-IP text and rule excerpts from any Pinnacle product. Approval is on a case-by-case basis. Attribution on the credits page is a must. Okay, cool. So what does this mean? First, IP stuff, not involved. Makes sense. They're saying, hey, you can't use Deadlands stuff, you can't use Ripper stuff, anything that we own or any of our licensee, like or we have, you cannot use. So if it's that kind of data, can't use it. But if you want to use certain rules like the Gallows Humor Edge or the dueling rules from Deadlands, I guess, you can ask for permission to use those rules in your product. What does this do? It means that you can use, there's multiple things, right? But first it means that, like, okay, so things from the Superpowers Companion, Fantasy Companion, maybe so you want like one or two things from other companions, and you want to put them into your book. You can look at that and say, okay, I want these things from those books, but I don't want the whole book. I don't want to make all of these companions required in order to play our game. Last week we had Doghouse Rules on to talk about Cult City, and one of the things that they talked about is how they need the Supers companion to make superheroes because it's a superhero setting, and they need to also put in use the Horrors companion for the monster creator rules. Now, I don't know if that may be too much for Pinnacle to allow them to put these rules in, but they can ask and say, hey, can we put the monster creation rules or the monster character creation rules from the Horror companion into our game for Occult City? Again, that may be too much for Pinnacle to allow them to do that, but there's now an avenue for those kind of things to happen. So if you see a Pinnacle product and it has an edge that you like and you want in your game, you can now ask for permission to add it and add it in. Again, they say here what they're not going to prove is products that are largely compilations of their works, those kind of things. So if like all it is you grabbing all the different edges from all the different settings and putting it all into compilation, they're going to say, no, we're not going to give you the time of day. But this means that you can pull things and that are in other books from Pinnacle and put them into your product. That's a great way to like add that access. Sometimes what we see in some third-party products is them recreating edges that already exist in Pinnacle products, but they're recreating them in their own words because they need to technically separate themselves from Pinnacle as far as like the wording of things or whatever, and even though they might technically do the same thing. In this case, this means that you don't have to do that anymore. You can just go get the edge and say, hey, can we use this edge? You're already an ACE licensee. You were already going to be giving those royalties over, and you can just say, hey, can we use this? And they can say yes or no. And I am extremely, extremely, extremely excited for that. Is that what I want in the end? It's not. Eventually, I would like to see a system reference document or a combination of like a system reference document and this kind of process to say, hey, you can reuse the edges so that we can make the game as a whole more concise and like together. So I get that for sure, and I'm glad for that. This is definitely a great step, though, right? This is the kind of thing I want to be seeing from Pinnacle, and it's great. If you're interested in using these ACE licensees, I know that there's some of you out there watching. If you're interested in these things or using these resources, reach out to Jody, tell her what you want. There are some formatting things that you must follow if you want to use certain things or do different things. You need to follow the style guide here, essentially, for how you want to request permission for these things. So follow that. Either way, that's super exciting, and I am super happy to see this. Pinnacle is doing a lot of things this year that are exactly what I want to see from the company, and I'm super excited about it. I hope they work out, though, because they don't, I'm going to look stupid. But either way, licensee spotlight, challengers for Savage Worlds from Marshall Games. I covered this a couple of weeks ago when it first came out, and I mentioned in like the new products area. Sci-fi setting, I don't know like all the different things that they do as far as like what's in the sci-fi setting, but this is for the same people who did the Good, the Bad, and the Savage, which is a Western setting for Savage Worlds from Marshall Games. So they're doing sci-fi, they're doing Weird West. I don't know if it's Weird West, but if you're interested in this, check it out. I will say to Marshall Games, please offer a print-on-demand option. That's the way I'm gonna pretty much wait for you to do that before I brought this book. Just a heads up. So if you can get a print-on-demand option, that'd be great. All right, so shapes of things to come. Crowdfunding, Europa and Obama Northwest is shipping internationally. Deadlands Lost Colony is shipped and shipping. I got my copy here. One of the things they did mention is that they put out updates saying that there was a problem with certain things not actually getting shipped in with the box. I think it was archetype cards or archetype cards. Apparently, I learned that I say archetype wrong. It's archetype. It's 3 syllables. I say archetype. Oh, well. But the archetype cards might not be in my box. I don't know if that was a problem for all shipments or just like certain kinds of shipments. So we'll see. But I've got my shipment here. But first, before we get to that, we have other things that we must cover. New products. I'll be honest, there wasn't actually a lot of new products on Director RPG this week that I noticed that I was super like, oh wow, I really need to make sure I talk about this. So, if I miss something, if you put something out there and you think, hey, I really like you to talk about this, please let me know directly. I am much more likely to put it on the show if you show that you are invested in this and you want me to talk about it. Okay. So if you release a new product, please let me know. Don't just like hope that I mention it. Let me know directly, and I'll take a look, and I'll be more deliberate about looking at it and deciding if I'm wanting to mention it or not. But as far as the things that came through my subscription email list, nothing really jumped out at me. So we don't have a new product to talk about this week. Oh, except for the After has a whole bunch of print options now. So if you're looking for the After, Broken Earth, sorry, the After it does have print options, but Broken Earth has a bunch of new options as well for print. So go check that out if you're looking at Broken Earth as a setting. All right, Kickstarters. Starbeards ends on Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th. So if you need to get your important someone a good gift, get them the gift of bearded dwarven people in space mining. It's a great gift. Coming Tuesday, so next week, February 3rd, is going to be Deadlands 30th anniversary. This is going to be all that stuff we talked about. It's going to be the star set. It's going to be the commemorative book. It's going to be the combined core rule book. It's going to be the power set cards. So look forward to that. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of add-ons as well. I don't know if there's going to be any stretch goals or anything like that, but I'm excited. And I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. Again, join me next week. I'll probably do a deep dive in looking through everything and talking about what I think this means, what I think certain products are going to look like, and things I'm excited about. So look forward to that. Also coming soon is the Cult City. Did I get a date for that? I think I got a date for that. I don't think we're looking at this week. I think it's coming out next week. I don't remember. It's in my last live stream. I apologize for missing that. But also coming sometime this year, coming soon, hopefully, is the Vermilion Outlaw Girls and Cannibal Elves. I'm still running through my Vermilion game with my group, and it's going great, and I'm loving it. So I'm looking forward to this very much. And then we have Phase World from Star Anvil Studios. This is coming through Rifts. So this is a Palladium licensed project for Savage Worlds that it's not done through Pinnacle. It is technically a Rifts setting, but it's not in the same context as Rifts is that Pinnacle's doing. So this is Phase World, a little bit different. Looking forward to that as well. We will be talking to Brandon from Star Anvil Studios about this setting. So look forward to that interview coming up later. And then this month's Ace Licensee Spotlight, this is the last week we're talking about it, is Dust Bunnies. Dust Bunnies is a little RPG setting for Savage Worlds where you play as these cute little dust bunnies under the couch who are doing cute little things like finding pennies, doing different little tasks, getting little trinkets, not getting treasure, not fighting people, maybe doing some trickses and stuff like that. And it's a game that is trying to be cute, right? It's trying to be simple, trying to be cute, trying to be a little bit fun, it's trying to be appropriate for heroes of all ages. One of the things that is in here is a big section on how to play with your kids, how to simplify things, giving a lot of advice on how to play with your kids or people who are younger, like nieces, nephews, whatever, cousins, that kind of thing. And actually, there's a lot of advice in here that I think you could just simply apply to running a game for anyone. Focusing on the action, trying to simplify roles, trying to make things more exciting. There's some things here that I think would be good setting rules for, to make things a little bit more fun and chaotic. Making your characters more likely to just be succeeding. Now, you're not going to do everything. You're not going to take the advice about changing bedtime to whatever your family calls it at bedtime. Maybe it's sleepy time or bedtime time. You don't need to do that necessarily for your group. But there's a lot of good advice in here for just keeping things simple and running the game simpler and doing that not just for kids, but I think that advice can also be taken for running your games at home for your adult or teenage players as well. So if you're looking for a game to play with your kids and you're looking for some good advice on that kind of thing, and still wanting to play Savage Worlds, because I've played a lot of other games with my kids. I tried to play games with my kids, And the only one, I'll be honest, the only one, I haven't tried Savage Worlds yet with my kids, and this is probably what I'm waiting for. My kids can't fully read yet, so that's why I'm like hesitant about that. But I think this is when I'm going to try to give it a try. So far, I will say the most success I've had playing with my young kids, which are 5 and 6, is Shadow Dark. Just a heads up. It's actually been pretty simple. But that is Dust Bunnies. Take a look at that. There should be a link down in the description below to check us out over on DriveThruRPG. All right, so that is everything for this week. Today we are going to be unboxing Deadlands stuff. Let's see if I can find the there we go. So we're going to be unboxing some Deadlands stuff. Get this a little bit. There we go. See my laptop here. I usually unbox stuff almost like as soon as I get it because I'm so anxious. I really want to like open it, and I just can't wait to get it on stream. Or if I do a stream, I just like it's not very well thought out. I waited this time. I'm going to try to do the stream a little bit better. Before I do, I am going to look through our comments because I want to see what people said about things we found out about. King 7 in Australia, welcome. Hey, welcome from hello, Australia. Hope it's all good down under. It is snowy here. We have like, I think it said 3-phase snow. It's more like 2-phase snow, but like digging out our vehicles, we now have like, piles that are like 4 feet tall. So yeah. I wonder, okay, Pierre says, I wonder if it helps Peg get new players launched into other IPs genres by including the 4 core rules. I'm hoping that it gets them at least interested in Savage Worlds. Even if it doesn't, I hope it gets them interested in Deadlands, and they see like all the products are out there for Deadlands, and it gets them into that franchise. And then maybe eventually go, we really like these rules, and this is powered by Savage Worlds. We should take a look at those games too. So I hope that works out. Megan says, I wonder if the cover will be a classic or new art. I actually hope it's new art. I know the current like rendering is this like classic art of Mr. Lynch. I can't remember his name right now. I hope it doesn't say that way. I don't think it actually looks that good. This thing about that piece of art, it looks classic, but it makes me think of classic Deadlands. It doesn't make me think like modern art style Deadlands. If it was for the commemorative edition, that's fine, but I don't think I want it for the core rules. Let's see here. A Deadlands core book can be trimmed down. Wait, down for core. Yeah, exactly. It can be really well trimmed down. Through here. Yeah, I think it looks great. All right, cool. I am curious to hear from you, Ace Licensees, on how you feel about these changes, being able to request access to edges and stuff for your rules. So yeah, hopefully we can hear from you guys for that. All right, unboxing time. Last time I did unboxing, you guys yelled at me for not having a knife. I did grab a knife to cut this open. So I'll go ahead and do that. So today we are opening Deadlands Lost Colony. This is literally everything for Deadlands Lost Colony. I did their like roundup option, which is everything for Lost Colony. So that includes the core books. It includes the Maw of Oblivion adventure, and it includes the new Mad World adventure. Now, what is Deadlands Lost Colony? Deadlands Lost Colony is a setting that takes place in the Deadlands universe, of course, and it takes place in the future. Humanity finds a tunnel to the outskirts of space, or they make a tunnel. I'm not sure which it is. And they go way far out there. They kind of like colonize these settlements way far out there, interacting with alien peoples and all that. And then the tunnel collapses, and they lose access to Earth. They can't get back there. Now, what we know as people who know the lore is that the tunnel collapse is caused by the nuclear post-apocalyptic nature happens on Earth. Basically, like there's a post-apocalypse nuclear apocalypse, think like Fallout type stuff that happens, and that causes I believe that is the cause of the tunnel collapsing. So while Lost Colony is happening, you have the stuff that happens in the adventure, or not the adventure, the setting of Deadlands Hell on Earth. Now, Deadlands Hell on Earth is not available yet for Suede. I know it's something that my brother-in-law would really like to see, but we don't have it yet. So let's get all this stuff out here. Let's see here. What do we got here? Oh, what is this? Oh, hello. What is this? So this says Savage Worlds Adventure Edition 2026 catalog. I don't think I've ever seen a catalog from them before. Real quick, let's get that out. All right, we've got Mad World, which I thought it was a box set, but maybe it's not. We've got Maw of Oblivion. We've got some Map Pack 1. We've got some pawn sets here. There's additional pawn sets. Oh, we've got a foil card. We'll look at that in a second. And then we've got, there we go, the box set for Lost Colony. So, yeah, we'll talk about that for a second. About all this stuff. But I am, first off, very curious about this 2026 catalog. All right, so we got core rules, powers companion. Yep, okay, cool. Everything we know about. We're very familiar with most of these things. I want to see if there's anything new. Dark Ages. Cool. Night Train. Blood Drive. Horror Headstone Hill. Yep. All that stuff. Savage Pathfinder. Good. Holler. Okay. So it seems to be just like everything that they've got released so far. Just nothing like new, except for like the stuff that is kickstarted, like the Evil Doomguard stuff and sort of thing, Deadlands Dark Ages. So nothing, no information about like the Deadlands anniversary stuff. So interesting. Okay, there's that. So let me be completely honest. I actually thought that, I don't know why, but I thought there was like a box set for this stuff. Clearly not, which is fine. I just was thinking that there was more to this for some reason. All right, so we have the two books here. We've got these bounty cards for war. I saw one other one somewhere. There we go. There's one in here, and there's actually a map in here too. So I think this is the Deadlands Lost Colony pawn set for like that. And then Map Pack 1, and there's a map in here. I believe this is for Mad World itself. So, cool. Interesting. All right. So let me just go to the side. I'm gonna start with Lost Colony stuff, the actual box set. Now this has been out for a while. This is not anything new, right? But it's new to me. There we go. And this is just being added to the ever-growing list of settings that I want to play in, but I do not have the time to play in because I only get to play, once a week, and we're trying to get through several campaigns, right? I think what I fully expect what's going to happen is that after we're done with Vermilion, we're going to go back. We're going to finish our Pathfinder game which is Rise of the Rune Lords. We'll probably try to finish that. And I think we're going to start doing shorter, smaller campaigns of all these different settings we want to do, like Deadlands Lost Colony, Hell on Earth, all those kind of things. So let's add that. Also need to do Holler because that's also really cool. All right, first thing we got here is a poster with a map. So this is of a Banshee. So this is a map of Banshee, which looks like it's mostly a water country, at least part of Banshee. Banshee is the resource-rich planet. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. A planet that a lot of Lost Colony takes place on. You can see here we got our. No, I guess you guys see it better if I actually just put it normally. We got our poster map. So map, poster. I'll hang this up somewhere. Pretty typical like poster quality. Let's see here. So we got Mad. What is this? I don't know what these are. Does the box say somewhere on the back? these the Harrowed cards? Yeah. I'm gonna go with maybe Harrowed cards because these look like that kind of thing. These look like what I would consider maybe Harrowed cards. No, these are Harrowed cards. No, I think these are the Harrow. This is like something else, and this is the Harrowed cards. Okay, so that's it. That's fun. All right. I don't know much about the Harrowed enough to like make a comment on like what these are for exactly. I know the Harrowed are like demon possessed, I believe. So I think this is like saying like what demon's possessing you, maybe. I believe these are the power cards. Yeah, power cards. So there's those. Pretty typical like standard quality Harrowed cards or cards for like Deadlands and Savage World and stuff. So the normal Deadlands back. The normal power cards like Savage World's back. So it can be a little more generic. So you don't have to have like, oh, I'm using like, oh, those are for Deadlands, so I can't use them anywhere else. No, they're like generic enough. We've got our, I'll call them monster. No, these are not monster cards. These are our archetype cards, our archetype cards that are in here. Let's see if we can get these open up. Paul Dmitrovich says the only downside of living in Australia is all the Kickstarters arrive way later than everyone else. Yeah. Sorry, but now you get a glimpse of it if you got this one. We got the Anuk Shaman. Anuk is one of the races. We have a Anuk Warrior, which I believe is another race, or Anuk is a race. We've got a Pilot. We've got a Breaker, a Guardian. I need to get these a little bit closer so you guys see them. Guardian. These are all novice ranked. We got Colonial Ranger, Psyker. We got a Anuk Scout. We got a Colonial Ranger, a Harrowed, a former X-Force soldier, and a Salvager. So a lot of that lore there. There's some lore there that I don't really know much about. For instance, I don't know anything about the races. I don't know anything about X4. And I don't know how much the Harrowed stuff kind of continuing on from Earth really matters. That's I still think it's interesting though, and it definitely fits that like horror, like creepy, like undead horror vibe that we kind of see in some other like films and stuff that still happens out in sci-fi. So that's super cool. We've got the Deadlands Lost Colony GM screen. Now I got one question. Most of my GM screens have the bound and tangled rules incorrect because they were errata to switch. Because I believe it's entangled and then bound. That's the two levels. Entangled makes you vulnerable, and bound makes you distracted. But at some point, originally those were reversed, and they've since fixed that. The question is that fixed here? Yeah, no, it still doesn't. Unless I'm mistaken, but unfortunately, I think this does say entangled characters can't move and are distracted until free. Bound characters are also vulnerable and cannot take physical actions. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Like I'm pretty sure that got switched and errated. I definitely thought I fixed it in one of my books. I'm pretty sure it's fixed in my other book, but my books are all over there, so I can't check. So let me know. I don't think that's right. So I was hoping that this would have been a newer version of the of it, so that would be fixed. But let me just go and get the art so you can at least see the art. Same art as you see in the poster, a little bit more extended. We got stuff over there, and then we've got looks like a factory of some sort that's caught on fire or something. So otherwise, and honestly, this actually feels almost like there's like a matte texture to this. I don't know why, but it feels a lot better than most of the other ones. Like the other ones feel fine. But there's something about the texture of this that feels a lot better than the other ones. Anyways, so that's cool. You got the Widowmaker adventure. So a lot of the Savage Worlds box sets come, or even like, usually actually comes with the GM screen. If you buy the GM screen, you also get a little small adventure for that setting. Even back in the Explorer Editions days that happened, I have one for Last Parsec because I bought the Last Parsec GM screen. So hey guys, by the way, bring back Last Parsec. I know to this year is all about Deadlands, but Last Parsec would be really fun. So yeah. Yeah, so I don't know anything about the Widowmaker adventure, so I'll have to read through that to probably run this eventually, see if I can get people to play. I think we got the core rulebook here. Let's see if we get the Bennies out here. They're purple Bennies. Those are actually really pretty. Let's see here. Come on. Just throwing Bennies around like you should. You should throw your Bennies to all your players. Maybe not throw them, but general idea. Vulnerable for Entangled is the new rule. Thanks, Vankel. I was like, I'm pretty sure you're supposed. It got switched around. So we got Deadlands Lost Con on one side. We've got several of some lady. Let's see here. Guy on a not horse. That's not a horse, but it's like a horse. Let's see if we can see that. Yeah. It's like a dinosaur horse. Kind of reminds me of like Venom when he's like doing a horse stallion thing. But the purple is really pretty. I like this color, so that's really pretty. All right, I'll set these aside. Get this all back. By the way, let me know, guys, if you've played Lost Colony and what your thoughts are on it. Let me know if you Here's a question, actually. What is your favorite version of Deadlands? Is it the original Deadlands or like Hell on Earth, Lost Colony, Noir, or like for those of you who've already like gotten into the deep end of Dark Ages, is Dark Ages your version? That's your favorite version of Deadlands? Obviously, all of them are providing a very different experience and very different like setting. But I'm very curious to hear what all of your favorite like what your favorite has been so far. I know some of you are like big Deadlands fans and you play like everything, so I'm very curious to hear more about that. Yeah, I've heard good things about Noir. I also haven't played it yet, but I'm very curious about it. These dice are also really pretty. They're like purpley as well. Here, let's get these out. These. I don't see that. Oh, you should be able to see that. And our little symbol here is this, which makes me look like a ninja star or something. Maybe a symbol for someone that I just don't know. But D20, we got our D20, we got D12, D10. No D100 though. So actually a little disappointing, but oh well. You don't really need a D100 in Savage Worlds unless you're rolling on a table. So, but these are really pretty. I wonder if this one. I don't think this goes in the dark. But very similar to some of the other dice they've made for Savage Worlds for like the wild die and stuff. So that's cool though. Really pretty. Mankel says, Hell on Earth is what he likes, but Noir, you ran Noir the most. Okay. Yeah, like I said, my brother-in-law really wants to play Hell on Earth because he likes that. He basically wants to play Fallout. He's played through I think three in New Vegas, mostly New Vegas recently, and he really enjoyed it, and he just wants to do it again. But in Deadlands, which I think like fits that vibe pretty well. Maybe a little more Mad Maxy though. Yeah, these look really pretty. I think these are really good dice. All right, so that's the dice. Let's see if we get this book out without breaking anything. Yeah. The struggle bus is real. There we go. Oh, that's actually like fairly sizable. So this is the Deadlands Lost Colony rulebook. We are looking at 195 pages, which is about like what most of their books tend to be. Is exactly what you expect from a Deadlands book. It is pretty, or from like Pinnacle in general. You got your comic book, your graphic novel size. It is the high quality glossy paper. Really nice images on the inside here. Same image there. So that's a little disappointing actually. I would see I like it when they do multiple images, show off more of the artwork. As you look through, we do see some full page art throughout the book, but it's also fairly text heavy. So you got a lot you got to get through because this is the whole entire setting for the whole entire everything that's going on. You got setting rules, you got conviction, dynamic backlash, fear levels, which are in pretty much every Deadlands setting. You've got gravity and space, so some of the gravity rules that you would see in things like the Sci-Fi Companion that are in here. And that's actually one of the things that I'm thinking about the third-party publishers. Savage Worlds can, at Pinnacle can, just take the parts of the rules from, say, the Sci-Fi Companion, the Fantasy Companion, Horror Companion, etc. And if they want to take those things and put into their product so they don't need to have, so their players don't need to have all of those books, they can. They can just say, hey, here's Lost Colony, and here is the, here's the core rulebook. That's all you need. If Deadlands itself, Weird West Deadlands, or actually even Lost Colony, if Lost Colony was made by a third-party publisher, they'd have to require the Sci-Fi Companion, they'd have to require the Horror Companion, and they'd have to require the core rulebook just to play Lost Colony. But because Pinnacle's making it, obviously, it's all their IP, all their information, they only need the core rulebook and take everything they need from the Sci-Fi Companion and the Horror Companion and put it into here. Venkel says Hell on Earth is a bit more like Trigun, Mad Max, and Army of Darkness all rolled together. That is actually a little bit different of a vibe than Fallout. But gotcha. But so yeah, you have this, and there's is there an adventure in here? There are some Savage Tales, setting rules. You got spaceship combat in here. You got some background on the setting. Oh, Marshall's setting rules. So some setting rules just for Marshals. That's interesting. Encounters the demon you know. I believe the demon you know is a adventure for Deadlands. So for this, I think it's like a miniature, a smaller campaign. Yep, small plot point campaign. There you go. Curse of Yig. I probably lean into cyberpunk stuff when I run Lost Colony. We just finished Headstone Hill, and I don't want it to feel too westerny. I will say, I think that's kind of the point of Deadlands is to feel westerny. Even the Deadlands, what's it called? The Deadlands Dark Ages is going to feel a little bit westerny. Probably a lot less, but I think it's definitely the feel we're going for. Also, there's something about Western that is really appealing in Savage Worlds. Vermilion has this westerny feel to it as well. Not as much so as Deadlands, but it's still got this westerny feel, and I kind of like it. All right, we're gonna put this all back here. This all back. Our hero cards and our list cards. Put that back here. Oh, I guess I need to put these back. Or is these? Yeah, I think it's right here. We'll take a look at everything else. So the core rulebook here had a plot point campaign. I believe the map pack also came with that. Let's see, get that opened up and take a look at the map. There we go. Come on. There we go. Well, let's see here. Paul, you said show. No. Paul said, I've only Weird West. I'm still working on learning my friends over to Savage Worlds. Yeah. Definitely I should probably work on a video. It's how to lure your friends to play Savage Worlds. And honestly, it's just talk about the settings, and talk about the flexibility. Hey, and character advancement and everything. But there's something the certain hurdles that people have to get over to get into Savage Worlds. I think Savage Worlds is a very, very, very versatile system, but because it's so much different than almost every other system people are used to, that throws people off, and it makes it hard to get people to play the game. But we have the map pack here. This is the Black City. So let's open that up. Like most Pinnacle map packs, this is very. This is a strong cardboard. I imagine that you'd have to like make sure you press it down a lot when you first get it out. But these are always like really big maps. Like you can see like how big it is. I'm not going to count the squares, but we have one area here. There's side. Let's get another area. And I think these can like go together. Like you go out maybe like this way, and then like it flips over to this side. Yeah, looks like some sort of like altar area. Like maybe they have some sort of nuke altar area. It's for the Black City, but I don't know what Black City is. But very sturdy. Imagine like the. I don't know much about the flip mats, but this is kind of like I imagine the flip mats from Paizo feel. So very good maps. All right, we have the Lost Colony pawn set. I'm not going to like open this up because I don't like to open these up. But yeah, that's all the pawns you need. And the nice part about these pawn sets is that it is literally every pawn that you need for like every monster, everything that's in the plot point campaign or whatever should be in these pawn sets. So very helpful. We also have this pawn set here. This one is the pawn set for, I believe, the pawn set for Mad World. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's go ahead and get this opened up. And the only reason I'm going to open this one up is because it's got these other things in it, like these maps and the bounty cards. Make this open. That'd be great. There we go. All right. So I got it cut open, but I can't get this out. So now I can't say I've seen Pinnacle do anything foil before. So this is new. Show there. So we got this bounty card here. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is Pestilence, 200,000 credits. If the heroes defeat Pestilence, they can choose one hero to receive this card as a conviction token. Okay. Conviction can be used to add a d6 to all trait and damage rolls for 1 round. Okay, so that's what these are for, is to basically be treated as conviction. Like, hey, I'm going to spend my bounty card to get conviction. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, like that should be at least one of the rewards you should get for killing one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Thankfully says a way to sell Lost Colony is to say it's like Firefly, Brave Star, and with a bit of Event Horizon. I know Firefly. I don't know the other two. I'll look into those. If you don't know Firefly, like go watch Firefly. I still need to get my wife to watch it. I think we started it a few times, so just couldn't stick around. The pilot's kind of long, so like I have to like get ready to like basically watch a movie for the pilot. So I'll put that in here with these. Actually, I'll take them all out first. So we've got Pestilence, War, and Famine. And do they all have the same money? Yeah, they're all the same bounty size. So, and we also have some vehicle cards here. Let me get these put away first. So the foil is really well done. I think it looks really nice. And I like the orange. Oh, like the like retro vibe aesthetic, even though it's foil. I don't think a foil would be necessarily being retro. Maybe like 90s retro, but not necessarily like orange retro. But I think it looks really cool. Savage World's 20th is foil. Yeah, I guess the 20th anniversary cover had like some like foiling done. That's true. I continue to regret not getting certain products from Pinnacle, like the leather-bound copy of the rules and like the foil copy of the rules. I'm like, man, what was I doing? But in reality, I don't need them. But I don't feel less like a Savage Worlds person because I didn't get them. We got two different vehicle cards here. We've got the Reckless and the Ground Grinder. We have these two, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember seeing any vehicle cards in the box set. So these are, it seems like they're kind of random, just to have like two. Yeah, kind of have these two vehicle cards, but that's it. So it feels a little odd. I'm confused about that. All right, let's see here. 10 map pack, we did that. Our pawns, we got that. This is a map. Let's see what the map is here. Now this actually looks like it's just. Oh, it's just not. This looks like it's just actually a map of some sort of area. That's probably just part of the setting. I don't know what this is, but that's all it is though. I'm curious like what the purpose of that is. Usually it's like, I mean, it's got to be some sort of like planning that you have to do to like go to these places. This goes to Seaside. That seems like even like larger, like out than like the other side is. So I presume this is something important for one of the adventure that these are for. We got some big ones here. We got tank here, some other stand-up pawns, dinosaurs. Yeah. All right, so put those back. All right, so now we do have the two books. These are also plot point campaigns for Lost Colony. This one's 96 pages. I imagine that's how big this one is too. 96 pages, yeah. So they're both 96 pages. So it means that these are larger adventures than the plot point campaign in the core rulebook, right? Now, this is currently everything that you have for Deadlands Lost Colony. If you want, like, Maw of Oblivion and Mad World, that's the whole entire adventure. And I believe in this one, this is Pestilence. So if you didn't know about Deadlands, some of the things you can do is you fight against some of the four horsemen, Reckoners, what they're called. And this one's Pestilence. So this is, yeah. So now these is pretty typical for even previous Pinnacle products. One thing I didn't notice, and I'm going to point out now, in my copy of Deadlands Lost Colony, I noticed that this box set did not have the new like ribbons. So I'm guessing these are not these box sets have not been reprinted yet, because they have have mistakes in them from Suede, and they don't have the bookmarks in there. Whereas like smaller adventure, you can see here, has bookmarks. And so does actually Maw of Oblivion. Is just one bookmark or is it multiple bookmarks? No, multiple bookmarks. So the other bookmarks, and this is pretty much becoming standard on Savage Worlds products these days, is that they put these bookmarks in because people love them. But they have not reprinted this stuff yet. So I'm actually a little bit disappointed I don't have like a reprint, like fixed version of this, but I understand they have to get through their product first. But yeah, so hopeful. But these are still really nice. Again, the same quality level if you see on any Savage Worlds Pinnacle product. They got, here's that map that we have the poster map of. It's just the one side though. And again, I kind of like, why is this the same picture here and here? We could have done one side of the map here and then the other side of the map here. That'd been perfectly fine. Is there any additional setting rules for these? There's some new edges, but no new setting rules, and some new hindrances. Okay. And then for this one, for Maw of Oblivion, art there, good. Same art, okay. And then we've got some new hindrances, new edges. And again, no anything else, which is fine. Cool. So these are, anytime you do an adventure, you basically are also putting it into a micro setting, like a micro part of the larger setting. So, if Lost Colony is the larger setting, usually these are going to be a micro setting within them. And that's pretty common against, again, pretty much anything, any product, any adventure run. It's like, it's going to be micro place inside the larger setting. And that's what this is. We have this one's going to take place in I believe a jungle planet, and then this one is something else. I don't remember what. This one you take a fight onto famine. So the Reckoner famine. This one is against pestilence. I don't remember when you fight war, and the one I'm forgetting of. I'm deaf. Is this deaf? Is that one of the Four Horsemen? Maybe it is. Yes, the GM screen did have an adventure. We went over that. Yeah, the Widowmaker is what it's called. Paul says, might need to get a new copy of Sway Core and pass my current copy book as a table copy. I actually gave a friend of mine, friend of mine who likes Savage a lot, let her have my copy of my original first printing run copy. So she has that, I think. And then I got my 5th print run copy. So that's how I'm doing things. So yeah, so there's a lot here. I'll be honest, I don't know why, but I thought these were also box sets. So I'm clearly confused there because they're not. But nevertheless, there's a lot of content here to get through. And if anyone of you have ideas on how you can get through all of this RPG content quickly, I would love to hear it, because I need to figure out ways to get through all this stuff and play more Savage Worlds and more content. So, and I honestly, that would probably be a really good video, just go through how to get more game in your limited time. Again, I'm running 2-hour games every week, right? So one game a week, so consistent, but the games are only lasting 2 hours every time we play. So there's something to be said that there's, how can someone like that get through more content? So love to hear from you. I am planning, hopefully, eventually getting more gaming in by getting some more games going, but that probably won't be until later due to timing and stuff. Quickly, yes. Getting through stuff quickly it's going to be difficult. Well, that's everything I have for you all tonight. I know this isn't something crazy exciting, me opening stuff. But I wanted to at least go through what's all in the box and give you guys an idea of that. And also came with Lost Colony. And we'll just go from there. John Jim says that run the PowerPoint, the PowerPoint, the plot point campaign in a condensed method. There was a playthrough of Horror at Hudson Hill that JM ran in 8 episodes at 45 minutes each. Okay, yeah, that is pretty quick. The question is just, I've got to analyze how they did that. And part of that is going to be players, right? You need to get your players to make quick decisions and move the plot along and stuff. So, yeah. So I'd love to hear some advice on that. And that's all I have for today. Next week the 30th anniversary Kickstarter will be going on. I think that will be a great opportunity to just go over everything for that Kickstarter, talk about what Savage Worlds is doing, what Pinnacle's doing with the IP, what they're doing new, and the starter set. I really want to see more about that starter set. I want to see how they're doing things for the core rulebook. I want to see what they're looking at for what's going to be inside the 30th anniversary the commemorative book. And honestly, I want to see if they're going to do any sort of stretch goals and stuff like that. So look forward to that. We'll talk about that next week. And if you have any ideas of things that I should talk about here on the channel, please do let me know. I thought about maybe taking some of my ideas I've had for videos and just doing them here instead of recording videos for them, or at least getting them off my chest here, and then maybe condensing them down to video later. So we can always do that. But if you know anyone who wants to talk about their upcoming Kickstarters or their product, please send them my way. Let them know. Reach out to Goose. And until next time, everybody, thanks again for hanging out. And I hope you all stay savage and may your dice always ace.